video. Oh, it's going.
Okay. Welcome back to our No Impact Week Lifestyle Challenges. This is the last group for the day, the consumption group. So we're going to tell you guys about how our week ended up. And as you can see, Amy and I have all of our waste compiled. It was a lot. It was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. And it made me feel kind of wasteful, even though I'm fairly certain that this is less than an average person. But it still feels like a lot.
So yours totaled what?
1.8 pounds
Which
for
is
the week.
is like less than half than, what is it? Someone's supposed to throw away 4 pounds a day?
Yeah, the average American throws away between 4 and 5 pounds of waste a day.
Yeah, so that's really low.
Right.
But it still looks
But
like
it
a lot.
looks like a lot and it feels like a lot. And like it doesn't feel heavy, but like I feel like, oh my gosh, I have to throw all of this into a trash can right now. I feel really horrible about that.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it is recyclable, but having to take all of this in one trip into a bin feels really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do as good as you in terms of like minimal impact. Mine totaled just under 7 pounds for the week.
Which is still really low.
Which, over, like,
Yeah.
if you think about it in that context, but like, yeah, I thought I was doing really well, so I came and you were like, yeah, I have less than 2 pounds. I'm like, oh, nice, okay.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. It's
Well,
something to shoot for.
I tried
But-
to like live normally, and so I would be interested like what I can cut back from this. That's the biggest thing. And I think that the biggest thing is paper towels from washing my hands after going to the bathroom on campus
Yeah.
or in a public restroom. Because obviously at home I have a hand towel and I just use
Yeah.
a hand towel, or if I'm here at the office, but if I'm anywhere else, then
Yeah.
it's paper towels.
I liked your idea of having like a microfiber hand towel just to carry around. It's like the same thing as a
Yeah.
reusable water bottle, but
yeah,
Pretty much.
Kittens.
yeah. I
And
think
then
I'm
you
into
have
that.
what? This, like, from
Yes,
To-goes.
I have 3 to-go meal boxes from the Wellness Kitchen, and while they are compostable, we don't have composting on campus, so I couldn't put it
Yeah.
in that. And those are really bulky and pretty heavy. So if I took out that and the paper towels,
It wouldn't be too
it would
much.
be horrible, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be more traveling and at a conference, but since it was a conference geared toward sustainability in a way, like there was people in that mindset that
Yeah.
all the dishes were reusable from all the meals, and they were very like they promoted it as a zero waste conference. So I was like, oh, that worked perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would get really excited when they're like, okay, this is zero waste, like all of this is recycle, or it was all just reusable. And I was like, yes, and everyone's like, no one else noticed, but I would be like, oh, less trash I have to carry.
Right.
Yeah.
That works well. So
Did y'all eat out at restaurants at all?
we did the first night.
Yeah.
But like I
So,
didn't have any.
You didn't have
food
any waste, but there's
No.
like waste that you don't see, I guess. But
Yeah,
you
from
can
the
do
people
about
that
that.
were in, there was like that night, like a paper napkin, so I had to put that in here, and then like the little thing that goes around the silverware. But
yeah.
that was it from dinner that night, I think.
yeah.
I said like
No straw?
but
Yeah.
I did say that. But our waitress actually asked.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, the restaurant was like pretty. It was a really neat restaurant, but they asked like, "Do you want a straw?" And so I was like, "No, I'm good." Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have a lot from prepping food for the week for the family, and then coffee grounds. And then a lot of junk mail, so maybe something you all don't experience yet in your life, but people trying to get me to buy more things or go further into debt. So that's kind of where that's at. And then, my yogurt addiction. And this is all like, most of this is based off of convenience. A lot of it. I think the only thing not food related in here is I had a medicine that I took today because I was having a headache, and it was in like a blister pack, and a couple things of gum, which may be food related depending on how you characterize gum.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is either packaging around food because it came that way, even though I was buying like food that I was going to prep, or just straight up like, I don't want to deal with doing that, so I'm just going to buy it and microwave it.
Yeah. I think with the food packaging, it would be interesting for me to do it for longer because I'm buying groceries and feeding one person. So I buy a bag of frozen strawberries, and I don't go through that in a week.
Yeah.
So if I did it for like a month or something, then I would definitely have more food packaging after I've used that food up. But like in a week I don't go through my food
Yeah.
because it's one person. So that would be neat.
Yeah, that would definitely add to it.
How'd the no plastic go?
Yeah.
It got a lot better after the first 2 days because I think like the first day I was with my family and there's 7 of us and they're not like super sustainability focused, so there was a lot of plastic. And then the second day was when I did my grocery shopping, so that was like the most like that I was using plastic. And then besides like the daily stuff like my phone case or my car key or something like that, it like went way down at the end of the week. It was just kind of like random stuff that I ended up having to use. And then this weekend when I was at my friend's wedding, we like had snacks the whole day to snack on. So that was a lot of plastic because like we brought it like to the hotel room,
Right.
and so there were a couple of things in casserole dishes, but the rest of it was like chicken nuggets in a plastic tray or cookies in a plastic box or something like that. So that was like, that added a little bit, which you wouldn't expect. But I thought there would be like a lot more waste that I saw from like the wedding and like a huge event like that, but like there really wasn't. I mean like plastic wise.
Sure.
So
Nice.
yeah, it was interesting, but yeah, I definitely was able to reduce it once I started to be like conscious of how much I was using the first 2 days. So
Right. It's probably kind of like when you buy a new car and then all of a sudden you see all of those cars everywhere.
Yeah.
It's probably the same kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I'm
exactly
looking for
like that.
plastic and now, oh my gosh, it's absolutely everywhere.
yeah, it's like really it was really eye-opening the first 2 days to just realize like how many times a day you use plastic. I think like the first day I was keeping a list and there must have been like 20 items on the list, and then from there I kind of just like kept track of new things that popped up, and it got down to like 3 things one day, so that was like the lowest.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not bad. That's like,
It's impressive.
well, that's like I didn't count my phone case every day, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like I didn't count my car keys every day, but
Yeah.
yeah, like, I think I didn't eat out a whole lot this week. I don't think I ate out at all besides like wedding food, which was all reusable stuff. So that really cuts down on like plastic waste.
I said that too. Like us as a family, we didn't eat out at all this week or order pizza.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how much packaging and waste comes with eating out
Yeah.
Yeah.
or eating takeout at least.
Right.
Eating takeout is
Eating
even
takeout,
worse.
yeah.
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 I thought it was interesting how much of the waste that I was producing is stuff that normal college students are producing every day, and it's just like systemic in our culture, and we don't
Yeah.
even think about it. Like we go to the bathroom and then wash our hands and rip a paper towel and throw it in there, and we don't even think about that. But like
Mhm.
having to carry it around was like insane, and like these meal boxes, like the food packaging on a college campus is insane.
Yeah.
And like with the plastic, like that's stuff that we depend on our car key, and we don't
Yeah.
think what that's made of. We just go drive our car.
Yeah, and then when you
So-
like multiply that by like how many people in America are using these things on a daily basis, it's like
Right.
really hard to wrap your mind around that. Like
Yeah.
when you're seeing it
Yeah.
on like an individual level, how much it is.
Well, and that was, when I look at this, I'm like, this is just the end product. Knowing
Yeah.
all
There's
of the
so much.
waste, like both solid waste and electricity and water and all
Yeah.
of the stuff that goes in to making these things, packaging these things, transporting these things to the grocery store, keeping the grocery, I mean,
Yeah,
it just
right.
is, it is a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah, it's
But-
kind of crazy.
And a lot of this stuff is like, I didn't have a choice. I mean, like I could have not washed my hands, but I was trying to like live normally, so I did or not wash my hands, but not dry my hands.
You can do that too.
I could have done that. I could have not dried my hands because I was like, oh, I'm trying to use like less paper towels, but I was
Yeah.
trying to live normally. But it's like I didn't have an option between a hand dryer and a paper towel. I didn't have an
Oh,
option
right.
between a reusable container and a to-go container.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it was just that's how it was.
Yeah.
Which I don't know about hand dryers and paper towels. Like I've not looked really deeply into which one uses more as far as energy
Yeah,
versus
I was
Right,
wondering
that's
paper
a big
waste.
debate. Yeah, I don't know.
But
So.
Yeah.
I thought it was, I don't know if you like experienced like being around a lot of other people, but like by the end of the weekend, like the group of 10 that I was with, like they obviously knew what I was doing from the beginning, but they'd be like, oh yeah, don't forget you have to hold that, Kinsley. Don't forget you have to keep your trash. And I was like, yeah, I know. I've been doing it all week. I got
Yeah.
it down now, but
Yeah.
I did have a few conversations that I would not have ever, I don't think at least, imagine having had I not been toting around all of my waste. So it was
Yeah.
interesting in the chance that it gave me an opportunity to like have conversations with people about just waste streams and what we produce and what we can avoid, and so that part was fun. That was a fun side effect that I didn't expect to have happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but yeah.
All right.
Anything
Well,
else?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
Definitely like changes your view on consumption.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think it's going to make me feel differently this week, or when I'm not actually carrying it around, but I'm going to be so aware of everything I'm putting in a landfill bin or a recycling bin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
But okay, thank you guys for following all of our journeys this week, and we're encouraging everyone to choose a challenge next week. We have instructions on a blog on our website, and so you can choose one of the challenges that we have done, that our staff and interns have done from one of our topics, or choose your own and see what it's like for yourself, because it's a really good learning experience.
All right.
All right. Good night.